But if they were to approach you and Peter Obi and the Labour Party and said they wanted to sit down with you and look at the sort of reforms, for example, that could be put into Nigeria to make this place better for everybody, for example, things like restructuring, electoral reform, would you participate in that discussion?
Can TinUBu ShEttImA resign and get the Senate president sworn in to conduct a new election?
Well, it is unlikely that they'll do that.
So we cannot support them.
Okay.
We cannot. Anything that deviates from how the Constitution provides it, we will not.
You are only portraying yourself as a bad loser. In a contest, there must be a winner. There must also be a loser in a contest. As a sportsman, you should be able to accept defeat when you have lost. Mr. Peter Obi came not second, he came third. He satisfied with that. He went to the presidential court of appeal tribunal. He lost. He appealed again to the Supreme Court. He lost. Having lost, I think what is required of him is to come out openly and congratulate the winner. That is how a Democrat ought to behave.
Well, let me come back. Let me come back to some part of what Mr. Peter Obi said. And he said that there is a loss of confidence and trust by the Nigerian people in the position of the Supreme Court. Now, if you look at the valedictory speech of Justice Mohammed Dattijo, does it lay credence to Mr. Obi's position about the trust Nigerians have in the judiciary, especially the apex court?
I can tell you for free that by the judgment of the apex court, public confidence has been restored in the apex court. When you look at the judgments of the apex court, which have found the judgment of the Presidential Appeal Tribunal, you agree with me that that judgment is sound, unassailable, and is consistent. It's a restatement of our law. When a judgment has followed legal principles, has followed the law, how would that lead to loss of confidence?
My country people, finally, he don't choke TinUBu for throats. But before I begin to analyze this video, make I remind you now about the video where TinUBu make, where it proudly talk, say he don't defeat Peter Obi and Atiku. Say they drag and go left and right, in conquer them. Now that one I can make the obedience gather. Come say na shame if Peter Obi no come out can't talk, because if he no come out can't talk, it will be like say he don't accept defeat. You know, say all these things now politics. As TinUBu talks, say he don't defeat them, they drag and go left and right. So now he talk last. So the next thing we supposed come up, say Peter Obi retaliates, give TinUBu. Now this one I can make Peter Obi can call conference. He can't talk. As TinUBu yes say Peter Obi don't talk. The next thing I fire in own. Now I reply Peter Obi. If una watch internet closely, una will see and say TinUBu the one day at the top of the top story. We be say if anything come out, he go find a way to excuse himself come up. Either with fake news or say in the shake person hand or say they don't carry one kind thing come up or they don't bring one kind price come down, so they won't be at the top of the news. So when he hears say Peter Obi don't rank for the top search for every platform, the next thing now you come up. My country people, this is a game of war. Before I dive into waiting TinUBu talk, first of all, make I remind you now of waiting Peter Obi talk during a press conference. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party LP in the just concluded February 25th presidential election, Mr. Peter Obi, has officially reacted to the recent Supreme Court judgment which dismissed his petition against the victory of President Bola Tinubu. Obi claimed that the apex court willfully condoned breaches of the Constitution with regards to established qualifications and prerequisites for candidates in presidential elections. According to the former Anambra State Governor, the Supreme Court did not only exhibit a disturbing aversion to public opinions, it abandoned its responsibility as a court of law and policy. Highly permits me to make some few comments on the recent judgment of the Supreme Court, the highest court in Nigeria. As someone who has benefited from the ruling of the Supreme Court on an electoral matter, after a period of deep and sober reflection, I have decided to personally and formally react to the recent judgment as most Nigerians have. The course we have confronted with are issues of national interest. Legal issues aside, the Supreme Court exhibited a disturbing aversion to public opinion, just as they abandon its responsibility as the court of law and policy. It's therefore with great despair that I observe that the decision of the court contradicts overwhelming evidence of election rigging, false claim of technical glitch, substantial non-compliance to the rules set by INEC for itself, as well as a matter of perjury, identity theft, and forgery that has been brought to life in the course of election matter. These are hefty allegations that should not have been treated with levity. The Supreme Court's judgment willfully condoned breaches of constitution relative to establish qualifications and prerequisites for candidates in presidential election, he said. After Peter Obi don't talk plenty things, of which I will play for the ending of this video. Now, dear TinUBu come out to talk, say, the presidential reacted to the statement made by Peter Obi, the Labour Party LP presidential candidate in February 25th elections, over the Supreme Court's judgment affirming President TinUBu elections, saying no court in the country gives judgment based on public opinion. The presidency added that since Obi admitted that the Supreme Court's ruling brought an end to litigation and any challenge to the victory of President Bola Tinubu, Obi should have congratulated the president and pledged his support. Reacting to the Labour Party presidential candidate press conference on Monday, the presidency, in a statement issued by Bayo Ononuga, special advisor to the president on information and strategy, said it welcomed the pledge by Obi and his party to play the role of the opposition and urged him to start preparing for another shot at the presidency in 2027. The statement titled Peter Obi should find better vacation instead of casting aspersions on judiciary. The Labour Party presidential candidate in the last election, Mr. Peter Obi, addressed the press conference just like Atiku Abubakar, where he cast aspersions on the Supreme Court and the Independent National Electoral Commission for not declaring him the winner of the February 25th, 2023 election. We are at a loss as to how the copycat Obi and his faction of Labour Party convinced themselves they won an election in which they came a distant third. The grand delusion that made Mr. Obi believe he could have won a national election where he ran the most hateful, divisive, and polarizing campaign that pitched Christians against Muslims and one ethnic group against the other in a multi-ethnic and multi-religious society like Nigeria should be a matter for a deeper examination. At the press conference where he tried in vain to gaslight Nigerians with false claims and innuendos, Mr. Obi contradicted himself. Here was a beneficiary of judicial pronouncement in past, now castigating the same courts because its judgment did not go his way. Mr. Obi claimed the Supreme Court's justice didn't consider public opinion in delivering what has been applauded as the most profound judgment in an election appeal. So this was what Adenuga wrote, the special advisor to the president. President Netherlands say, oh yeah, make you go quick, make you go reply Peter Obi, so that make internet not to shake. My country people, una still remember say these people, they know how to corner things, to make everything they cushion. Not the palliative way they talk. So them see they do want for internet too. Before we know it, they happen. They say reports coming in that the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) has commenced the disbursement of the 25,000 naira. Okay. Wait. Why I be saying at the very day where Peter Obi come and come talk? That very day na come release. With these people, they know they add 1 + 1 together. More know what they do. This government, they know your guess sense. One single sense no would day. Chai, the earlier the better. People begin they get sense, they understand. Say all these politicians now for their own interest, they don't get any body interest for mind, especially this very government with all this, so this APC. Not only their pockets, now they know all their own. Now to they bring the news will be say it is very fake, 100% fake, and they use people like this Asari Dokumbo. They drop them, they'll use them, promise them heaven and earth. At the end of the day, they not go do shishi for them. That's why this one cried, come out, TinUBu disappoint them after everything we do for her. Not just him, another group consider wrong. We are now haunted after standing for TinUBu. APC group cries. The group threatened to fight back the ruling party if TinUBu fails to wade into the situation by directing security agencies to be alert over the continuous attack of the party. That's what consider say most of the bandits will be say that they far for north. Say now this TinUBu government now they sponsor them. Hey, my country people now small. All the anyash go they open. Bandits, kidnappers. Why have they not dealt with them? They sabi deal with Supreme Court, may they give judgment happy. Why they never deal with something very simple? Yeah, these people are growing their numbers and they have good ammunition, they have everything. They better location where people say them know where they but yeah, they are not doing anything. Okay, how they say win election? And don't they meet them one by one? They don't see and say the naira not get value again. Okay, right now they don't they talk and they go, yeah, it's okay. They want me they do am say make they buy things in naira. Una no say Femi Falana they talk this thing, say everything should be bought in naira. All trade should be done in transaction with naira, not dollars. They don't they talk and they go, yeah, they talk and they. The question me want to ask, who is using the dollars? It's not the same politician. It's not the same House of Assembly, them, the TinUBu, them. Now they pay these dollars, my country people. More they tell ourselves the truth. My country people, just these few days, now we they see all the nyama news where they fly up and down, where they don't make sense. The one we can't pay me pass, we can't pay me. No car, but what damn sevi ya fe we pay me go reach my bone. Now the 5 billion presidential years we be say they don't buy, they don't deliver already. They come they play us like say we be small picking. Come they talk say okay, the money we want to buy the presidential years we all put on for education. Hell, ojao. So when they call my bill, no we na eki na. He can't come and can't talk, say the suffering of Nigerians. Who put us for the suffer in the first place? It's not the politicians. Not be politicians, they make everywhere scatter. Not be everywhere going make nyama. So he said the suffering of Nigerians made us speed up passage of TinUBu 2.70 trillion appropriation bill. Hell, now wow. See the reason why Peter Obi came out to talk. Why Peter Obi said he will never support TinUBu, said their government is to spend and not to contribute anything. And it's true. And right now, they are now referring to us as suffering Nigerians. What a disgrace. What a shame. This one reach where Peter Obi come out to talk. To let them know, say, man, in quiet, in not be fool. Another reason we can't make Peter Obi talk, now be say, right now, TinUBu is being sued for failure to probe missing $15 billion and 200 billion naira of oil revenue. My country people, this is serious. Even the budget where it bring come out of plenty trillion, the facts remain. the most important thing for life will be health. It not dey inside the budget. Health, it not commission anything give health at all. And yet say one fix the country. At the years, so they say health is wealth. But in TinUBu's case, it be like saying the wealth, now be wealth. I don't understand the kind of government. We know they put wealth into thinking. That is how our doctors, our nurses are living, because they don't give them any priority at all. Yet the first lady get 5.9 billion to take refurbish her life. The same woman wey come out, come boldly talk, say we are not dependent on Nigerian money. We have our own money. Nigeria is too poor where we are. Yet the money they are going to spend on her and her group is more than the money they are allocating to student loan. It's a shame. When they see am say, this is not good for a year. Now so they come out to say that presidential years where they already deliver and the money we want to buy that presidential years, we go your add and join the student loan, make it be 10 billion. Oh God, these people, they are stupid. Meanwhile, if him and his so-called first lady, they're not well, and those governors and those senators, they will run abroad and go and take treatment, leaving Nigerians to fix their life, to fix themselves. Yet you go run, come and talk, say poverty is not a shameful thing, but Nigeria must dig itself out. You see, Nigeria must dig itself out, not we must dig ourselves out, because they know they're not part of the poverty. This is very simple. Now, simple English. Once you don't include yourself, don't use the word we, that means you are not included. When I see brain what they use for us. Country people they talk and say totatikolo make bede. When you talk plenty things, you not go finish. TinUBu evidence in our too plenty, my country people. In fact, I support say that it come and talk. I support Obi come and talk. I even support Atiku say come and talk, because TinUBu want turn this country to one party state. It not go be. See, everything way be saying they want cover up, except they not get with they hide. But if you get into where they hide, you go they come and one by one, my country people. This one a Bod Tv board. Where they analyze all the trends where the Apple put on together for one video, make it make sense. Don't forget to like, share, and sub. Wow, we say
elucidate a bit. Supplementary budget is a budget that is meant for very important national welfare need of the people that is not captured originally in budget or does not have adequate funding. I'll give you an example. Nigeria today, we've read it in the past 1 week for United Nations World Food Organization that 26.5 million Nigerians will go hungry next year. This is an issue of national importance that we can go for supplementary budget. But we have a supplementary budget where we are mentioning issues of yachts, SUVs for First Lady's office, shows to the extent that its government is totally uncaring and we're in deep problem. It shouldn't be part of that. In fact, bringing in First Lady's office, which is not in our constitution, is even more troubling. All funds meant for First Lady's office should be allocated and addressed to dealing with the girl-child issue of education, to deal with the issue of education of the girl child in Nigeria. The First Lady is there to look after the husband and work with him and everything to ensure that everything works well. So for me, the other one you ask is the issue of SUV for National Assembly. Again, I can put it in the same basket that I put the earlier one. It's very troubling. The SUVs for both houses will cost in region of, I think it's in the region of about 60 billion, if I'm right. Nigeria today, our primary health care today is collapsed, which consequently Nigeria now have higher infant mortality than India, a country that is 7 times our population. For you now to use funds that is higher than the fund allocated to primary health care to buy a car for 400 people, it shows height of insensitivity. And we have a way we can buy a more competitive vehicle and everything for them, even from locally made. And most of them, sorry, even in the Senate, are people who already have cars. We don't really need to buy vehicles for them because some of them are my colleagues, ex-governors and everything. Do they need new cars again? It is time we must shake and show responsibility to what is happening. People, Nigerians, are already scamping for food from waste bin. And we're doing this. It shouldn't be. And I can go further to give you an example of how I handled it even when I was governor. So it's not the first time. When I became governor, I found out that the justices of High Court don't have cars in Anambra State. The permanent secretaries don't have cars. And when I became governor, they ordered for me 2 bulletproof vehicles. And I said no. Collect the money back, paid it to PAN, and said supply us 60 406 cards, 18 to the justices, 18 to PANSEC, few to the commissioners that are appointed. The rest became my deputy governor and myself. Throughout my first term, everybody in Anambra said I used 406. Nobody, but it was meant for 2 bulletproof cars, the money we used to buy these cars, and nobody killed us in that 4 years. So it is time for us to use money very judiciously.
Thank you.
My name is Georgina of Radio Nigeria. Now that the Apex Court have passed the final judgment, how do we build a nation to avert these court cases in subsequent elections?
Well, as you can see, everybody have done now that all institutions are broken down. Like it's been now shown, it is now for all of us to work hard together to ensure that we save the country. Those who are in office should do the right things. Those who are in opposition should ensure that the right things are done. And we will do so on our own part aggressively.
Yes. Right.
Excellency, my name is Friday. I work for Channels TV. I'd like to ask you, sir. The presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, when he also briefed on this same topic, the Supreme Court judgment, he made some recommendations. And one of the recommendations I can remember vividly now is this recommendation for a single term of 6 years on a rotational basis, rotational presidency. What's your view on that? And I just want to take you quickly on the issue that my colleague from Daily Trust raised, the issue of cars for people in the National Assembly. It is true that your party is in opposition now, since by virtue of the judgments of the Supreme Court. But you have your members of your party who are in the Senate, like we have one of them here. We also have some of them also in the House of Representatives. They are beneficiaries of this. So, to what extent are you going to engage with them? And of course, those lawmakers at the state level, so that they will stand different from other lawmakers in these parties that seem to be doing things contrary to your vision?
Let me start with the issue of Labour Party members in the House. I've actually discussed this issue with them. Surprisingly, I can tell you, I heard that these vehicles are official cars And I don't know, they have to use it. It's meant for official vehicle. So it's not as if it's their vehicle that is meant for official cars and everything. Because we can pay for it and say, listen, if it's your car, you return it or do something. But they said it's official cars. And that everybody is meant to do it. You are meant to use it while you're in the Senate. But you know how things work here. It's not going to be like that. But, so, what I say people is that it won't be if Labour, if we were in office, nobody would have contemplated such. And that's where we want to go from. Because it is not enough to do the wrong thing and then start correcting it, but it shouldn't even be. Just like people are saying, oh, maybe the issue of yield have withdrawn, or this one, it shouldn't even be mentioned in the first place, because it touches the sensibilities of people to do that. On issue of the single tenor, we campaigned vigorously on issue of restructure and reform. So that is clear. And that would have included so many amendments to make this constitution be a workable and functional constitution that will be productive for Nigeria. Including in that would have been issue of single tenor. I thank Vice President Atiku Abubakar for his position and his commitment to ensure that things work better going forward in Nigeria. But I disagree slightly. I will go for 5-year tenure, which will go for 30 years, rotational, or 5-year tenure. And I'll still campaign for one thing. If we cannot go back to issue of parliamentary democracy, we must have a quasi system that will allow our leaders, elected, whether prime minister or president, to be able to be part of the legislature, especially to answer questions, maybe presidential question time or prime minister question time, instead of hiring surrogates and people who are not elected, who have nothing to be canvassing and telling us stories. We want to hear it from the people we elected now. And that is critical. It's very important. We cannot continue with this way where we are now, where people have outsourced leadership.
Thank you. Hello? Okay. Hello?
Good afternoon, Your Excellency. I recognize my name and I report for prior to the general election, there were calls for you and the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party to come together and unite to fight the APC government. And after the elections, people were still saying that if we had obeyed such calls, that we would have been having a different story. Do you regret not, answering those calls? And do we see you, collapsing your structure to have this kind of a thing in the future?
Thank you.
Thank you. We don't regret anything we did. We came out and campaigned on a new Nigeria. No other party did. And our position remain consistent. We're consistent on that. On a new Nigeria. A Nigeria where things will be done properly. So we're not regretting anything. We don't know who knows tomorrow. If you can predict tomorrow, I don't think you'll be here. We can't predict tomorrow, but I'm telling you where we are. Our commitment is on a new Nigeria, and we remain committed to it.
Thank you.
My name is Ben East Nigeria. You make an assumption to being a strong opposition to this ruling government. The charity begins at all. First and foremost, I know that there's crisis in the Labour Party. Even the chairman states there's crisis in Edo. From what we have read so far and what we have seen so far, how do we intend to reconciliate everybody across the country so that they can have a viable opposition?
Okay.
I hope this is the last one.
Yeah, the last one. The last one from here. Okay. The last one from here.
My addition is that since you have exhausted all the legal means to reclaim the mandate, many of your supporters, young Nigerians, they are tired, thinking that is it going to remain like this with the way the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeal, and the Tribunal has settled this situation. So many of them are drawing back. What advice will you give to them to reclaim that hope of a new Nigeria?
Well, thank you very much. That's what we just said. For us, it's a destination. We're committed to where we're going, and nothing will stop that. That is our commitment. And the question before that, where is the man who asked the question before that? On issue of our party. The leadership of our party is not in question. Like it is in every system, especially these are the troubling things that is happening in Nigeria, where people are trying to bring in divisions in other people's houses. The Supreme Court has said those who are leadership of our party, and is not based on judgment that is purchased or manipulated. It is based on the rule of law. That is this. This is what it is. And that will follow, and that will respect. And I assure you that in coming months, we will make the party stronger. We will build it. Those young people he's mentioned that are virtually tired and we'll re-energize them. We'll make sure that they walk down the road. We'll make sure that we carry them along to our destination. We are committed to it. Labour Party, the ObeDient movement, everybody will come out of this stronger, better, more committed to a new Nigeria.
Yes. Your brother, the spokesman of the Northern Elders Forum, Hakeem Baba Ahmed, is of course now serving as a special advisor on political matters to the Vice President Kashim Shettima, which means that he might have to help Mr. Shettima to devise a strategy for dealing with political opponents such as yourself, his brother. Does that rub you up the wrong way, given all the things you've just said about that government? Your own brother is now working for them?
Charles, I am after the government. I'm not after appointment. I am after the president and the vice president who were fraudulently elected, unconstitutionally elected. I cannot come down to speak about any appointment. He is by far my senior brother. So there's no way to say he's an adult or he has his own rights or his own life to live. Our politics are completely detached. And in fact, it is his boss I know, not him. And his boss, since you brought this question, he is not exactly a responsible gentleman. With all the things they've been doing, Now, you brought up this issue. I didn't want to talk about it. You see, they attempted something on my safety, on my security, and I was able to find out 10 minutes to time. And God's so kind, I was able to avoid. They tried to get me into one of those yellow houses down the road, get people to come and arrest me there, and use that to rig the judgment. I became so inquisitive, and I dodged within 10 minutes, only for me to come and find out, based on strong suspicion, where it came from. And with what I see, then the strangulations in Lagos in the past, yes, they happened, and they were for a reason. The people gunned down in Borno State, it happened, and yes, it was for a reason. I think Peter Obi and myself have been lucky to have stood today to give that press conference. So the least, taking my senior brother to give him an appointment is the least of my worries. I am not worried about any appointment.
Right. Well, let me bring in another.
If he likes, he can go and take the entire Baba Ahmeds and give them ministers. I don't mind.
Well, let me try.
I will still.
You still stand by the things you say.
It is an unconstitutionally
which is impressive that you stand firmly by your beliefs.
Yes.
But you were called fascist by the Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka because you and Peter Obi claimed you had won the election. He used those words. He accused you of trying to force a lie on the Nigerian people. How much did that broadside affect you, coming from someone with such a stature as Wole Soyinka?
Please, I respect him too much, and I have more important issues to discuss. Let's go to another question.
Right, so you don't want to talk about
I don't talk about
okay.
Come back to Shettima, and I'll talk about Shettima.
Well, let me talk about something.
A very irresponsible gentleman.
Let me talk about something that is imminent.
Be he the vice president or whatever that he is, I'm telling you that he has conducted himself in so many ways in these 6 months that demean the office of vice president, and I'm not happy about it, especially the way he's been treating our elder, Atiku Abubakar. For God's sake, Atiku Abubakar is getting to 80. He is by no measure of imagination Shettima's mate. How can Shettima come out and say that the Kanuris crack jokes with Fulanis, therefore he's going to retire him to Dubai or Morocco? And these are very personal issues. What kind of an irresponsible statement is that to make?
Well, I am not privy to having said that. For him,
I
having
am,
said
and
that.
it is true.
And obviously, the vice president's office.
So all I'm saying is that leave Soyinka out.
Yeah.
Bring who matters to me, like Shettima. Bring Alhaji TinUBu. Look, even TinUBu, I have much respect for TinUBu. You heard Shawari criticizing me for me calling TinUBu uncle. I call him uncle, where I said, you saw the picture that I went to greet him in the mosque, and they said that I went to plead. No, it's just respect. But the fact that I respect his age doesn't mean that I will not call him a drug dealer.
Yeah, well,
or a certificate forger.
Well, I don't think you should call him those things.
I will,
unless you have
I will. That is why I said do not
evidence
swear him in.
Yeah,
the evidence is there.
Yeah, but can I just make the point that on Arise News, they have a right to reply to the things that you said.
One of them will come tomorrow.
And we're giving them that.
One of them will come tomorrow. Let them come and say that.
We're giving them that right.
Let them come and say that he didn't forfeit $460,000.
Well, let
them come and say that the certificate.
I want to tackle you. I want to bring up issues, right. And I don't mean to interrupt you. My apologies, okay. But I want to deal with issues because we've got about 5 minutes or so left. I want to deal with issues that are upcoming because you did say at the outset you wanted to move forward. Off-season elections are, of course, due on November the 11th in 3 states, Kogi, Bayelsa, and Imo. The Inspector General of Police has just redeployed the Commissioner of Police.
That's not my line. Leave
in
it.
Imo.
I don't have any answer for you. That's not my line.
Right, because I was going to ask you, is it, I mean, we saw, for example, to assess the chances of the Labour Party there.
That's not my line. Come back to the substance of democracy, of what the Fourth Republic has done. You know, we all have our specialities in this game that we do. I don't know about those elections.
Yeah, but you're the vice presidential candidate of the party.
I'm not that
and
vast.
The more your party gains, political traction,
speak to me on
the more it is good for you.
I know, speak to me where I
Right.
have strength on. That one is for the party chairman and His Excellency, my boss, Peter Obi. They can handle that, but come back to the issue of constitutional breach, come back to the issue of the rights of the Nigerian people, come back to the fact that I keep telling you, it is not over. If the Nigerian people decide to rise, they will reclaim Nigeria. The Europeans came, there was no constitution, and they had power. They colonized Africa. So power is when you have the power to do and nobody can say. Now Nigerians can take this power because their constitution has been breached.
Right.
That constitution is their
So
own. They had faith.
Right.
Nigerians had faith.
I think you've made that point over and over again.
Right,
We've got about 3 minutes
Yes,
left.
Yes.
What is your next move?
Continue in this line of protecting Nigerian constitution. Continue in this line of creating awareness in Nigerian political system. Continue in the Labour Party and the ObeDient movement with Peter Obi. Continue to sensitize Nigerians and then continue to tell the people in power that they have unconstitutionally taken over Nigeria, sustained by the Supreme Court, and they are destroying our dear country. They are destroying the future of our children. And for doing that, I will continue to say exactly what I have said in this interview.
If they were to...
There is no way to fight an individual or group of individuals like to destroy their country or to destroy the future of their children.
But if they were to approach you and Peter Obi and the Labour Party and said they wanted to sit down with you and look at the sort of reforms, for example, that could be put into Nigeria to make this place better for everybody, for example, things like restructuring, electoral reform, would you participate in that discussion with them?
Can TinUBu ShEttImA resign and get the Senate president sworn in to conduct a new election?
Well, it is unlikely that they'll do that.
So we cannot support them.
Okay.
We cannot. Anything that deviates from how the Constitution provides it, we will not.
Okay.
Finally, we don't come to the end of this analysis, my country people. Now do well, wa we say, wa like, wa we show.